political video. Today I've done already a social video, I've done a vlog, and I'm doing now as political video. Welcome, welcome. I know people come here for different purposes, and I will not deny you what you need, okay? Of course, for those of us who are into Nyabohanse, be expecting my videos in the morning, and then a vlog follows in case I'm out there, then followed by a political video in the evening. So welcome once more. I'm charging as I work, so I don't know how long it will take, but just welcome here. And today I feel like I should talk about Tanzania again, and we should pray for the Tanzanian guys, because if dictatorship has not been a common concept, now it's here. Since the time of Idi Amin Dada, we did not expect that a lot of dictatorship will come to Africa, but I've seen it in Uganda a little bit, then now it is in Tanzania. And the way SULUHU is doing it, guys, it's so suffocating. Can you imagine that Tunduli will be soon ferried to Norway? Did you know that? I look a little bit tired, so bear with me. You may be looking at the video and wondering what's wrong with this, but for those of you who watched my vlog, you understand, right? And of course, I'll be preparing the premiere too, so that it goes on air. If not today, tomorrow. So welcome to our... Welcome again to our today's vlog. Sasa unauliza maswali or you just... Okay. So people making money out there on stocks, but some of us tried stocks, and I'm telling you, it's not easy. So let's run on with our video because I'm a bit tired today. For those who watched my vlog, you understand why it was a hectic day, but I'm here again to do my vlog. And I'm not here to actually show the beauty of life, but I'm here to do a reaction on political situation. And of course, for those of us who have been watching Tanzania, you know that things have not been good, all right? So thank you so much for those who are already watching. Like the video. I appreciate for the one like I've seen right there. And I want to get some evidence, or rather receipts, to pull out as I proceed. So, John Heche as actually, Anne, thank you so much for the comment. I really appreciate. Masingumbi, welcome also to the channel. And here we are on a political reaction. You know, some people don't watch even our political reactions, and they come by and say, why can't you do you? And I'm like, I do me because I am someone who is diversified. I do follow a lot of politics. At the same time, I follow a lot of social life of different people in the country. And I also do my own. So some people who just don't like reaction come here, and all they do is to paint a picture of someone who is limited. But for those of you who watch me genuinely, like Masingumbi, Anne, and many others, Skamarwa, there is Canadian Prospect, there is somebody else, there are Yilmaz, and so many others. They understand that we are diversified. I'm so diversified in my content. And so today I'm on political network. Of course, Tanzania, you understand there's a lot of mess that has happened in Tanzania, including people trying to flee from Tanzania and others occupying an airport. We've also seen John Heche exposing how we have abductions ongoing in Tanzania. The way he was actually attacked and told to come out of his vehicle, and they did not explain where he's going. You know, for a long time we used to know Tanzania as a very kind place, whereby even if you have to be arrested by the police, they would tell you, excuse me, sir, we have come to arrest you. But now that seems like history now in Tanzania. It's like people have just to be abducted the way we have seen in other countries. It's like people should not speak, they should not communicate, they should not have network, you know. And that started long ago, not just today. And I don't know who will work against this kind of suppression and oppression in that country. Because from the cultural aspect, Tanzanian people are very, how can I say this? You know, they don't want to be very controversial, they don't want to be radical, you know. But all in all, opposition has been necessary. However, we have seen SULUHU has come out as a dictatorial leader because she has made sure she frustrates the opposition by all means. Okay, so I don't know. Was she a blessing? Was she a blessing or a curse to Tanzania? Okay, so let's just check on some videos here, and some of them you'll be just looking at them, while some you will be watching. I'm just making sure that my phone is charging. Leave alone the yesterday's election, as I proceed. Where Samia Suluhu was elected. When her boss died, John Pombe Magufuli, they thought like Samia was going to uphold the ideas. All right, that was an invasion in the airport. So we saw a situation that could be very tricky for Samia Suluhu herself. She might be forced to flee from Tanzania, because if Tanzanians are invading even the airplanes, like an airport, that is serious, you know. Even if you are so hard-headed, if you value your life, you would actually have to move out. So what has happened in Tanzania is that people did not expect what they are currently seeing. They did not expect that, okay? They expected a situation which is similar to what Magufuli left, you know? Magufuli was trying so much to talk to the people. We could see him going to different places in Tanzania and making sure that he does what the citizens want. We saw him solving cases of land, and even there is a time I remember he had a meeting and there was a woman there who was crying and she had to say, leta yule mama tumsikiza na shida gani. And after that, he actually instructed leaders from the village to go help this lady. Now it seems that Suluhu has rejected totally to solve the problem of Tanzanians, and she has turned into a dictator, you know. How did Tanzania get here? Of course, you understand that Samia was, was working alongside Magufuli as a, we call it what? A running mate. Yeah, that's the word. So after that, Magufuli died, and on death, Samia automatically had to pick up the leadership. Now, she has not really satisfied the needs of the citizens, but she's forcing herself to be the leader, and she has silenced the opposition. She is ready even to ferry Tunduli to Norway and many others. Chadema, is it Chadema that he has to also be dealt with? So it's so disappointing, actually, that a country like Tanzania, which has been so peaceful, we've seen that country producing a lot of cereal and having such a peaceful life, it has turned into a land that is going to be a dictatorial one, with Tanzanians now going to face it all. Is this the fall of Samia? There's high chances, because if you look at what has happened in Cameroon, Paul Biya has forced himself into office, and we have seen that he has been instructed by the UN to really be checked, because there is no way someone can lead for 43 years and he still wants to lead for 5 more years and is declaring that citizens are voting him in. Now, when you look at the elections of Tanzania yesterday, we saw Suluhu claiming that she has won 99%, 98% in different places. So it's almost like every region she's winning with 90s, 95, 98. How is that possible? How is that even possible in a country that has opposition? It is not possible. But she is a dictator. And I want us to look at somebody here. Vitalis Shadrack Bango, welcome Tanzania War. Wasemaje, welcome Tanzania War. So you are saying that kuna vita Tanzania, so unakaribisha watu waangalie vita. Wacha tuone. There is some video here that was quite shocking from Tanzania. And of course, I know these are just individuals who are coming up with the videos, because Tanzania had done a blackout on most of the individuals. I'm like, okay. Zuaja apt Assam. Hi, sister. Myself, I like what happened Tanzania. I'm Tanzania also, but I'm in Cape Town. Oh. So Zuaja is in Cape Town, but is very happy with what happened in Tanzania. By the way, Tanzanians have been very cool and quiet. But for the first time, they have gone to the streets. Remember the time some Kenyans went there to actually support Chadema, or is it Tunduli? And Mother Karua plus others went to Tanzania. And when they went there, one of them was arrested, and that is Ali. And people, most MPs, I was surprised that they were talking and saying that that Kenyan should have been beaten and even given a gas cylinder to use in breathing while coming back to Kenya, because he had claimed he had been harassed, sodomized, and such situations. I was like, what kind of talk is this? And Suluhu came out to say on camera that Kenya is disorganized, and therefore she does not want to the Kenyans to go and destroy peace. I was like, which peace? Without democracy, without giving people the right to express themselves, what peace are you talking about, Suluhu? But Suluhu has always ignored what other nations say, even what they do or experience. She's not ready to face this radicalism that most youth want. The youth want people to work. You work, you continue ruling, but you cannot force yourself on them. Now, when you look at Tanzania, look at what protesters did. They had to storm the borders. And also, we had Kenyans on the other side who were trying to invade so that they help oust Samia out of office. So let's just check this. It happened some hours ago. I was so busy, I wouldn't have shared them.
Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan is facing the toughest political strategy as a white speaker where the crowd had gathered. Inside Tanzania, the protests have spread across several major cities over the high cost of living, unemployment, and corruption. Many Tanzanians feel that promises of reform and inclusivity made at the start of Suluhu's presidency.
Yeah, so Suluhu has not actually made it a reality for the many expectations that were set that time. And this has really triggered a lot of war, because Tanzanians generally did not expect that this was the course of events. Like, she ignored all that she had promised the citizens. And that is why I think she's trying to force the Tanzanians to just have her. And that is why she kept showing her anchor towards Kenya at some point. I'm like, are you so sure that during this moment when people know their rights, you can actually sit on them and force them to follow what you have to do? Let's just look at another thing here. Let's look at...
So money yote in Tanzania.
So of course, before elections, Samia had spread a lot of posters in town, and you can see that there are a lot of people who are trying to bring them down. Now, I just don't understand these elections whereby you would force only supporters to go vote, then you say you have 99%, yet the opposition has not had an opportunity to be represented. I just hope that maybe international organizations will come in to save Tanzanians, because I'm just foreseeing if they let Suluhu rule for the next 5 years, it will be terrible, terrible, because she's not holding the ethos, or rather the ethos of, what Magufuli used to hold. She doesn't trust in democracy. She's not ready to listen to anybody. And she's there to force or coerce people into actually respecting, or rather being loyal to her. Yeah? So machafuko ya Tanzania kwenye uchaguzi mkuu yanatokana na mambo ambayo Suluhu mwenyewe amejiletea, kwa sababu yeye ni kama anadharau mambo ambayo vijana wanataka kule Tanzania pamoja na wananchi, na anasimama na kamishona wachache kuwatesa wa Tanzania. But the reality is that she does not really adhere to the expectations. Okay, let's just check here. So the reality is that a lot of people, watu wengi waliumizwa kupitia labda kupigiwa risasi, unaona, kupigwa fimbo na askari hao wa Tanzania, and it was very terrible. Let's just look at this one also. Look at this.
Maandamano yalishuhudiwa katika jiji kuu la Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, waandamanaji wakijitokeza kupinga uchaguzi mkuu ulioandaliwa leo nchini humo. Waandamanaji wakikabiliana vikali na maafisa wa usalama na kusababisha majeruhi kadhaa waliopigwa risasi kufuatia nipe nikupe hiyo.
Sisi tunataka tume huru ya uchaguzi ili kila Mtanzania ashiriki kuchagua kiongozi anayemtaka.
Sisi ni Watanzania wapenda haki wa nchi hii. Sisi tumezaliwa katika nchi hii, hatuna nchi nyingine.
Tunaandamana kwa sababu uchaguzi si wa haki. Sababu tuliokuwa tunawataka kwanza hawapo. Wameweka watu wao.
Sijapigwa, lakini nimepigishwa magoti na familia yangu pasipo na sababu, na kosa silijui, lakini nimejitetea nikiwa ndani. Jamani, hapa pana amani, kaambia toka nje. Na kama msipotoka nje, tutawapigia mimoshi, mtoke na mabomu ya machozi.
Nini tupigwe risasi na wakati tunaandamana maandamano ya haki? Kwa nini tupigwe risasi? Kwa hicho kitu sisi tunapinga. Na hii ishi leo mpaka ikubalike.
Mkuu wa polisi nchini Tanzania Camilla Swambura ametangaza amri ya kutotoka nje kuanzia saa 12 jioni kote nchini Tanzania. Aidha, huduma za mitandao zimeripotiwa kuzimwa katika baadhi ya maeneo.
So from yesterday, tunajua kwamba walikuwa wamefunga jinsi wa Tanzania wangeweza kuwasiliana na watu wengine ama kupeperusha yale yanaendelea pale Tanzania. Na there was an order for curfew. Tumeshangaa because in any country curfews were only during corona time. Kwa hivyo Suluhu ameturudisha kwenye wakati wa corona, kwamba Watanzania wakuwe ndani kwa ndani, na hata ukiwa ndani wakitaka kujia wanakuja. Unaona habari ambapo it's very clear that some people were actually forced out of their houses because they were told if they don't come out of their houses, they will be shot. Okay? So vitupa machozi vilitumika, risasi halali risasi kamili zikatumika. And there's been a lot of chaos at Namanga border even 1 hour ago. 1 hour ago, there were a lot of chaos. And I don't know if by now, I don't know. Even if there is rest, there is still unrest. Maybe people are just restraining because it's now night, but there's still unrest in Tanzania. And we hope for the best. We should pray for these people and hope that maybe international bodies will intervene and give them the right platform to actually, face the truth. Now, I've seen also the attacks on musicians who have been supporting SULUHU, such as SULUHU, Diamond, and these other two. Why am I forgetting their names? So there's been attack even on artists who have been singing and supporting SULUHU. Singing Mama SULUHU, Mama SULUHU, and it's such an horrible moment because Tanzania has been known to be a peaceful place, but only that most of them were submitting to oppression. And we hope that the narrative will change sooner or later, because the election protests continue, and somehow they have a right to, because whatever they are trying to communicate is a clear message. How can you be told elections zimefanywa, fulana amepita with 99%, yet the other people never went to vote just because they were frustrated their candidates were not there? So whom could they go vote for? Okay. So of course we've seen individuals from Kenya already asking the international bodies to intervene in Tanzania, especially a situation whereby citizens are suffering, they are being shot, some of them live bullets, abducted. Let's just see here.
Huko Tanzania, mashirika ya kutetea haki za binadamu yanaitaka jamii ya kimataifa kuingilia kati na kukomesha ukiukaji wa haki za binadamu.
Saif Omar, nimeshiba nini?
Kashifu Rais Samia
ya kutetea haki za binadamu nchini yanatoa tahadhari kuhusu jinsi vitengo mbalimbali vya usalama vinatumika kushambulia waandamanaji.
Tunataka serikali ya Tanzania ikome mara moja kutumia vikosi vya usalama kunyamazisha, kugandamiza na kuwaua Watanzania. Ya tatu, tunasema kwamba lazima kuwe na uchunguzi wa wazi kwa yale maovu yaliyotendwa ya pamoja na mauaji na mengineo.
There have been deaths, abductions. Restore constitutional order in your countries and respect the human rights of your people.
Immediate restoration of internet access and all communication channels to allow citizens, journalists, and human rights defenders to freely share information. 2. Immediate cessation of violence by Tanzanian security forces against unarmed civilians and unconditional release of all detained protesters and political prisoners.
So currently there are a lot of political prisoners. So Saif Omar anauliza kama nimeshiba, what do you have? Saif Omar, what offer do you have? Because naonekana kama sijashiba ama vipi? Okay, some comments here are very funny. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's proceed. Of course, when you look at such news, it's so devastating. Very devastating to look at a country where people are being abducted, others are being killed, others are being injured. It's not a good scene to see. And that's why we are actually seeking and hoping that international bodies will intervene this situation and save Tanzanians, because citizens are not supposed to be, subjected to such conditions, mazingira ambayo hawasaidii. Shidi Katumba says Gen Z juu. All right, Gen Z juu. Okay, so Gen Z pamoja na wengine tunaona kwamba wanafanya bidii hapa, kwa sababu if we look at people like Mother Karua and even that guy, all those who are under this group of mashirika ya haki or international bodies of human rights. Some of the people inside are not even Gen Z, but what I just call upon is that rights are rights and they should be respected. There is no way a president who loves the people can begin creating chaos and is so greedy for power, satiated, in fact, for power, in a manner that what the citizens say, they don't listen. I saw the same situation in Cameroon, and I saw that situation also in Cote d'Ivoire. And of course, we are going to expect more also in Uganda, because this is the year for election across these countries. And it's unfortunate that leaders can be such vile, you know, how can you be such a vile leader who is ready to even have your citizens dying? Yeah, so the rights of the people have to be respected. The rights of the people have to be honored. And it's not tafadhali. It's not like people should beg for it. It is a right. And if it's a right, it should be given. People should not beg for it. So I don't know why Suluhu thinks that she can come up as a dictator female leader for this time. And I think Suluhu is just creating a very bad legacy and ruining opportunities for women to be elected or rather nominated. What is this? What has she done? Because from what she's done, she's actually communicating very negatively about women. That we are so brutal. How can a mother be so brutal that you are letting people be killed, be injured, and you don't even give a damn about it? Even when citizens are complaining, I thought mothers are supposed to be more motherly and ready to even surrender for their children. And when we talk about countries, the reason why we refer to countries as she, we know that a country is supposed to be a mother. And the president of that country then is supposed to be a mother of all. And now that you are a mother as Suluhu, Samia, we expected better from you. You have let us down as the women gender, because what exactly are you trying to communicate to the world? Like leaders, women leaders cannot be the best, because we've had several presidents in Tanzania. And when we come just from Nyerere, we talk about before that there was another. And then now we had Magufuli. We've not seen this kind of leadership at all. So what is Suluhu trying to tell us? Nimeona Shidi Katumba anasema we are tired of leaders who are greed. Yeah, kama viongozi wana tamaa ya uongozi bila kujali wananchi, hawafai kabisa kuongoza nchi kwa sababu watateketeza nchi. That is the clarity. That is the truth. And I don't know watu kama the waimbaji hawa, why were they behind her, like celebrities like Diamond, Zuchu, and the likes? Why were they behind her so much, celebrating whatever she's doing when she's doing wrong? Kila wakati I heard songs about Mama Samia, Mama Samia. In fact, I started doing reaction on Tanzania during the moment of maybe 4 months ago, before election. And I remember I was just pointing out and saying, how can a country have rallies, political rallies that look like posters, advertisements? That is what exactly Tanzania was. You could look at the campaign and it is more like a poster and people are just singing, Suluhu, Mama Suluhu, Mama Suluhu. I'm like, really? Is this how campaigns are supposed to be conducted in a country? Is there democracy really? Because I can't see how one candidate can just be celebrated by everybody. And especially so if there are gaps in the kind of leadership they have had in a country, there's no way you can be celebrated unless you are forcing people to do through army or other means. Nandiamuhaki Boaz, welcome. Karibu sana. Mike, welcome here. Kelly Sharp, hello. Welcome here. Thank you so much for showing up. Today we are into the political realm. And I hope that some of you expected maybe a social reaction. I'm not doing a social reaction currently. Maybe I'll do in the morning. Oh, thank you so much for observing that, Kelly Sharp. Titus Wambua, welcome. Thank you so much. Lucy, thank you. Welcome here. And Shidi Katumba, you are saying East African and Africa at large, we have to have one voice. Enough is enough. Indeed. I think like the way I'm seeing Mother Karua and her team supporting Tanzania, and even us, when we talk on our YouTubes, you cannot underscore what we are doing because it is reaching a lot of people even across the world, and they see what is happening in Tanzania. That is why we have these channels, YouTubes and what have you, Facebook and all that. They really sensitize, you know, they make information available across the world about what is happening, and maybe someone somewhere is watching, then they come about and align things. And that is what I would wish for Tanzania. You know, I don't expect a country where dictatorship will be, because if Tanzania will be dictatorial, even us in Kenya will suffer in one way or the other, because there are things we would wish to do in Tanzania. We may not have a room to do them because SULUHU looks like someone who will stop us even going to Tanzania, because she has tried it already. I remember there's a time she stopped some kind of movement. We've seen her restricting business. If you look in the former restrictions on trade, she has actually been against so much. Like, she's not ready to integrate or even relate with others. I'm like, what kind of lady is this? Because ladies are people who easily relate with others. They create neighbors and friends. And through those integrations and cooperations, a country grows. Because I know through the interaction of Kenya with Tanzania, we can grow. Through our interaction with Uganda, with Rwanda, and any other country, we can grow. Because tourism, for example, if I want to go to Tanzania and see Serengeti from the other side instead of Kenyan side, Narok. If I want to go to Tanzania, maybe see Mount Kilimanjaro. I want to go to Tanzania and, you know, just go to Dodoma and so many other places. It's so lovely. But with someone like SULUHU, you know, because she doesn't want people like Mother Karua and the rest of them to go, she believes that Kenyans are lost. According to her, Kenyans are mixed up. So if they go there, they're going to ruin Tanzanians. I'm like, no. They're just sensitizing them, making them to work for their rights. And if you look at what is happening to Chadema, you look at what has been happening to Tunduli, you look at even the report that has just been shared by Heche, you realize that Tanzania is more fire. It's more fire than even Kenya, okay? People have been suppressed, silenced. Like, she wants submissive citizens who will just say yes to her. Yes, madam. Yeah, trading has been affected because now you cannot sell some products to Tanzania and we cannot buy products from there. And we have very good carpenters and mercenaries from Tanzania. We use them a lot. If I can say, a lot of people are constructing in Nyabohanse or even in Tanzania, the other border, Taita Taveta. They are actually using that to the Masons from across the border, Lunga Lunga, have been there. I understand that a lot of Tanzanians are in Kenya doing very great works. But when you come to a leader who is a dictator, they might just spoil the environment for that. Family Life says the world is changing. We must be ready for the soon return of our God. All right, so with this, then we need prayer. Maybe people should also commit to prayer for the nations, because when you look at what was happening in Kenya recently, and it has not stopped, because when you look at what is happening currently between ODM and UDA, they joined hands in broad-based government, but things are very tough. After the death of Raila, we thought that maybe these people will sit together and create a better things. But we are learning that even our president gave very mocking statements that were insinuating something dark. He came about saying that some people are disturbing him with sufurias on their head, but now they are no longer having that place to do. And a lot of Kenyans interpreted that as a mockery to Raila Odinga, you know. And currently, of course, you see Oburu Odinga had to meet secretly with Babu Owino to plan on a way forward for ODM party. Okay. Frederick Omondi says President SULUHU deserves every misfortune facing her. She caused it herself by turning into a ruthless dictator, of course. Whatever is happening is rightfully happening because we know that she's not the best for Tanzania. She's not. And remember, she just inherited leadership. But she has now forced to pretend that she has been elected, which is not true. For all of us, we know that it's not true. She has not been elected, and she has not been the best leader for Tanzania. Yeah? Just like we are seeing in Kenya, there is a trend whereby the current government feels like they are the best. Oscar Sudi comes about, says they are the best, they'll have to fill the buckets. The lady from Isiolo says the same. Wameketi says the same. Farouk says the same. We are like, if you really believe in yourself, why are you really coming out and saying that you'll fill baskets? You know? Osman Tall, welcome, welcome. My phone is almost going off, guys. Mara Call says Tanzania election 2027, Mama versus Suluhu versus Samia. What kind of... What a pity. What a pity. You vote for Mama or Suluhu or Samia. The same people. That is Idi Amin Dada indeed. How can you... that is why it was 99%. Because other members were not having a position for people to vote for them. People had boycotted the elections. So how can they claim that there was a run between Suluhu and somebody else? I don't think so. Osman Tall, hello, how are you? I'm very fine. How are you too, Osman? I hope you're fine. Peter Wekesa, welcome to the platform. Thank you and like the video. We are having almost 93 people watching and more, sometimes coming to 110, but we only have 12 likes. So guys, press that like button and let's continue. Josephat Mochanga, hi to you, welcome here. And let's continue, but my phone is almost going off. I don't know what to do. I would wish to continue talking and talking for 1 hour, but my phone seems not to want that because it doesn't have power. So continue dropping the likes as we finish. But all I wish is that Samia takes responsibility and she just surrenders, because there's no way for her. There's no way. Hana bahati, okay? Hana bahati. Yeah. Yeah, the way Biya, like Paul Biya in Cameroon, has also had the international bodies standing against her. So it is just the same situation in Tanzania. Manenzu Ndo 13 like Dan from South Africa. Thank you so much from South Africa. I really love people from South Africa. Thank you so much. James Kabole, 2027 to Komacho Kitaeleweka. Of course, we need to be very alert. Shidi Katumba says it's our responsibility, we the young population, to liberate our nations. Of course, every citizen has a right to do so, but most of them have not been ready. In fact, people don't want to be informed. People don't want to be informed about who is the leader, who should they vote for. I don't know why, but it happens. Frank Makongonga anasema, we appreciated the big number of Kenyans in Uganda yesterday who attended the prayer for the Right Honorable the late Raho in Kampala. Me, Francis Makogonga, Kenyan in Uganda, but from Bondo. Welcome, welcome. That was a very good signal, or rather show. We appreciate that, because actually they're filling that gap of Raila. It's not easy. And people will mourn for some time. Save for those who are selfish, because how can someone begin dropping very funny statements just after the burial of this? No wonder the family said that they are open to anybody to go and mourn. And at least today we saw Medhu and Senator Medhu, and who went to see Senator, they went to see Senator Oburu. Yeah, right, in Nyanza. And we are hoping that people will actually be alert and watch. Lucy says, I've just come in. What is happening in Tanzania? Tanzania, of course, there has been a lot of fracas, Lucy, because there was elections and it was a sham. I don't know whether you remember the situation of Kenya in 2007. After elections were a sham, they announced that another election is being conducted. And of course, now the opposition decided to tell people to stay off. Now, the only people who are voting are government. So, of course, automatically, Samia got 99.9%. 98, in some places 99. And so citizens and young people had to go to the streets and demonstrate. Some of them even invaded the airport, and they really want Suluhu out. Ilmistic later, Joseph Jackton, I'm praying for our country, Kenya. All right, so I don't know what happened. The network just disappeared. Hey, the network just disappeared at the same time. My phone power is low. So I may be ending this. We are at 40 minutes, maybe 5 minutes down the line, then we'll be gone. So what is this? Yeah, so Rose Waitaka, thank you so much for showing up on the platform. Ilimistic Harun, thank you so much for showing up. Joseph Jackton says, I'm praying for our country, Kenya, come 2027. You need to really pray hard. Are not very good. When you see the exchange among the leaders and that, that overconfidence, it's a problem. Ilimistic Harun says, MA, I don't know what that meant, but I'm glad you're here. And of course, let's just pray for Africa at large, because Africa, we've had a lot of problems. You look at Cameroon, look at Cote d'Ivoire, look at so many other places. Uganda is also coming. You will be seeing what you will be seeing on the streets. It is very bad, especially for young people to be falling just because maybe they are speaking what old people or middle age don't want to hear. Maybe because they are radical, but they are fighting for their rights. Why do we really prefer using a gun against young people? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, okay? It doesn't make sense to me. Whatever somebody says, they'll not convince me that there is a right in that. You can even imagine when it was announced by Murkomen and later the president that shooting is legal. And Murkomen started with just shoot. Then the president saw that and said, shoot in the leg. So it has never been easy. And no Gen Z will forget that. I don't think they will. Yeah. So guys, no matter what we say, people should just stand for the right. And at the same time, we need to pray a lot. Because once God intervenes, no leader will actually find themselves in office if they are not rightful. But if we don't find the favor of God, sometimes, just as the Bible at some point, we were forced as human beings to experience the worst leaders, maybe because we demanded for a space to have them. But it's so unfortunate that we have leaders who are selfish and they are really killing the future slowly. Because once you frustrate democracy, what else do you expect? I don't see anything. But there is that tendency, and how I pray that it will come to an end, because without democracy, a country is in the hands of dogs. And at the end of the day, as much as we'll perambulate around and say we are doing well, we are not. I'll just join Sifuna in what he says. Sifuna says that if we don't respect human life, then we are nothing. We cannot be a government when you are not respecting human life. The first thing you should prioritize as a leader is to actually value human life, and then the rest can come. Respect can come, growth can come, equality can come, equity can come, health can be assured, and all the rest. But when you don't respect human rights and human life, automatically, even if there is everything, there'll be no peace. There'll be no peace. And that is what we have to accept and actually pray for and also work towards. Because sometimes some things are not given. We have to go for them. All right? Yeah, so I really appreciate tonight. A lot of people have actually been keen to follow this. And I hope that this channel should be a blessing to make you aware of what is happening around the world. At the same time, give you a critical thought into what we have to do as citizens. Because wherever, no matter where you are, you can be a voice. You can be a voice to correct the problems, and you don't know whether you are reaching. Maybe there are people watching and they have ability to actually safeguard the welfare of the people in Tanzania who are suffering. You have a voice to even save people who are suffering right in America. You have a voice to save people who are suffering in Kenya, just through channels like these ones, or Facebook or something. A word or two can save the world. We never can know. But it all depends on what your ideology is. Because if your ideology is about a better world, then that better world will be found, no matter how long it will take. But we hope that it comes so soon, because when you read some authors, like my lecturer who used to teach me in the university, Francis Imbuga says, it was good as we kept waiting and hoping. But now there is no hope anymore, and there is nothing to wait for at all. So when you look at that statement, it was good when we kept waiting and hoping. But now there is nothing to hope for and wait anymore. All right? So that is why people end up in desperation. Desperation takes the toll, and people decide to do what they have to do. You saw in Kenya, there are young people who went and had to visit morticians and even pay them and prepare their coffins, because they said, Mama, I'm going to fight a fight, and if I win, I'll come back home. If I don't win, I've already prepared everything for my funeral. Don't spend too much. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? That is how bad the situation is. Like, we are making the young people disillusioned. They don't see the future. Rather just die than submit to what we call shenanigans, or what we call mediocrity, or what we call heinous acts, you know. We have so many other names we can use, but all in all, what we are saying, it is not good. What we are experiencing in Africa at large is not good. Look at Cote d'Ivoire, look at Cameroon, look at Tanzania, and see what is going to happen in Uganda. Why is it that we cannot be like Jamaica? Jamaica had elections very soon, and they were very peaceful elections. I didn't see any problem. Why should Paul Biya, for example, force himself into office, regardless of being 92 and having a poor health situation? He announced himself a winner. When we saw that the opposition won, then they had to repeat, and somehow, you know what happens? If you know the tingo, the political tingo, you understand it. When you look at Cote d'Ivoire, for example, Ouattara, was Ouattara the rightful candidate for that country to have won? I doubt. I really doubt. I really doubt. For the 3-term president? Really? No, I really doubt. So why can't our situation have been like Seychelles? We saw Malawi, we saw Ghana, and so many other countries where we had 1 term. You know, citizens deciding that it's enough for the incumbent, and the incumbent had to give up. That is the situation we should have. If someone is not working, let the youth decide, let the citizens decide, and let them be satisfied with what's happening. They shouldn't force themselves in office and make a country be in war. Because automatically when there is war in a country, effects of war are clear. There is displacement of people, schools might also be ruined, physical structures in a country will be ruined, then generally the economy will go low. Even the Tanzanian money, at the end of this moment, I know their money, there'll be high inflation. It also affects agriculture. People don't have time to go to the farms because they are scared. Many shops cannot be opened. If you look at what was happening in towns like Dar es Salaam and so many other places, automatically there are places like bridges and what have you, they'll be destroyed. Now look at the communication aspect and how it has been tampered with just because of this. That is so unpopular of you, SULUHU, because now you've taken Tanzania 10 years back. 10, even not 10 years, because when Nyerere was there, we didn't see this. All we saw was ujamaa. The love for Tanzania, the love for each other. And I've lived with Tanzanians, even on the border of Taita Taveta, they call each other kaka, kaka. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, will this continue? If SULUHU is going to be there, will this continue? this culture that was so good that we could admire. You could cross the borders, and when you go to Tanzania, you feel so safe. Food there was so cheap, you know. When you go to those hotels, most times when we had events at Taita Taveta, we could prefer going to the border, to the Tanzanian side. You feed there, sleep there, you know, have the nice moment, as people say, hujambo dada, umetoka Kenya, because they always know that we are Kenyans from how we speak, you know, and the way they speak. You know, for us, we won't use kaka, you know. We don't swear on using Kilimanjaro. We don't, there are things we don't just say, yeah? But for them, they have a different culture, actually, that I was so observant to realize. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, what a mess. What a mess of a country. Suluhu has made a mess of Tanzania. And I hope that things will be improved with time. And we are hoping that Kenya also, let's learn a lesson that we cannot force leadership. However much you force, it will come to an end. And even if you force yourself into office, you will only have to hurt people because they'll resist. And all you have to do is to shoot. So then whom will you lead? You will be constructing roads, but for who? For those who are going to be buried? Okay? You will be having the forces. Yeah? So, Nubun Amunupu anasema, how can it improve? Of course, I've listed here the improvement that needs to be done. And it can only be improved by people asserting themselves for the right aspects, and also international bodies. We are calling upon, on our channels, we have called upon international bodies of human rights to intervene. That is how it can improve. Yeah? And also, if they intervene the way Paul Biya's Cameroon has been intervened, of course the solution will be met. And once a solution is met, then these things will be improved automatically, because they can see. If someone is being dictatorial and suppressing, they can see that. If we can see as very limited individuals, what about them? They can see clearly. And so automatically, if they go the direction of Cameroon, they'll have to investigate Suluhu. They'll have to investigate what has happened around elections. They'll have also to investigate what they can do. And at the end of the day, things will be better, because I don't expect that international bodies will leave Tanzania just on its own. When we look at Martha Karua and her team speaking in Kenya, and maybe we see other people in other countries also speaking, South Africa, Uganda, we may not have people to speak from there because Museveni is another one. But when you come to Kenya and people are speaking like that on human rights, you go to USA, UK, if you know the situation of Sudan, I've really studied Sudan a lot, and the situation of Sudan, though it has taken so many years to settle, but we had a lot of bodies intervening. And somehow they improved the situation, not so good, but it's better than how it was. But I don't wish to have another Idi Amini, a woman Idi Amin Dada in Tanzania. I don't wish for that. So I just pray that international bodies should be watching us. Let them watch the channels, let them see the atrocities we are watching in Tanzania, and let them act, because they are there to save the lives of citizens, the young people, and all those who are being oppressed. Like, why should an opposition leader be taken to Norway when he is a citizen of Tanzania? Why? That would be so unfair, so that should not be allowed. Why should people be abducted like Heche was almost abducted? Why? That should not be allowed. They should actually raise already a team to question Samia, summon her to international bodies. If she doesn't go, they will automatically place bans on some of the things and tariffs, and she'll just have to be forced to submit. She's not a force to reckon. She's not a dynasty. She's not. The only way she got into an office is inheritance, and therefore she cannot now make Tanzanians submit. But it's unfortunate, like when celebrities were celebrating her, they made her feel like she's the biggest person in Tanzania. But I thank God that young people have decided to speak, and their voice must be listened. It must be. Nubuna Mnupu, very true. Thank you so much. I think we should come to an end of our video. We've talked for about 54 minutes, almost an hour. And I'll continue talking about this because I want action. I need action to be done. I need action to be done. And I'll also continue praying for Tanzania, for Cote d'Ivoire, for Cameroon, and currently also pray for Jamaicans, Haitians, and Cubans. They have really suffered through that specific disaster, the natural disaster that faced their countries, and things are not very good with them. Their networks have been affected, their houses has been affected, their schools, their institutions, and even their general life. So guys, let us also pray for Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and hope that things will be better tomorrow for them. Otherwise, let's meet tomorrow for more in critical analysis and demands. Let's make demands. Let's not keep quiet, because in the voices of the people, we get the solution that we need. We don't know whoever is watching. Maybe there's someone who is watching and they have power to actually touch Tanzania and stop SULUHU from whatever she's doing and safeguard the lives of the people of Tanzania and offer them a position that is better. So ndugu zangu wa Tanzania, tunawatakia kila laheri, tunaendelea kuwaombea na tunatumaini kwamba yote yatawezekana, kwa sababu Mungu hapendi vurugu, Mungu hapendi vita, Mungu hapendi mtu ambaye ana kiburi katika njia yake, ambaye anatesa wengine. Hamtadhalilishwa, Mungu atasimama nanyi na tunaombea. Ndugu zangu, kwaherini, mulale vyema na Mungu awalinde, awape nguvu. So thank you so much all the people who watched. I really appreciate. Thank you for those who liked the video also. Thank you. Also share with others. Subscribe to the channel. Remind your friends to subscribe. Tafadhali bonyeza kidude cha kukumbusha kwamba kila wakati nikiweka video utaweza kuona, sababu nina mambo mengi ambayo wanashiriki. Nashukuru. Wakati mwema. Napun Amnupa amesema umesema kweli. Asante. Kwaheri.